This is Caffeine Coils, and I'm Deanna.
And I'm Jenny. All right, Deanna, tell me something good.
Well, the good news is, I got a new cold plunge tub.
Oh, okay.
I got a legitimate cold plunge tub finally, and I like using it a lot better than anything makeshift I've been trying to use.
How long? What's your longest plunge? Have you gone like longer since you got it?
No, I still stick to like 5 minutes, but I think eventually I'll work my way up to a longer amount of time. I'm not sure if I want to do longer time or more sessions.
Okay,
you know?
Tell me this. What's longer, a treadmill minute or a cold plunge minute?
Probably a cold plunge minute.
I would probably agree with that.
They're pretty long, but yeah. But you went to
hard.
Talladega this past weekend, right?
I did, yes. Okay, so the ending was so good. We're going to probably date this episode because we pre-record these, just so y'all know.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was really, really, really fun.
Mm-hmm.
The rain held off. Well, it rained in the morning, but it stopped like just in time for them to start the race. So I was really happy about that. And then it was just good. So my driver is Kyle Larson, and he actually got penalized during qualifying. So he had to start at the back of the pack, and he had to go down pit road, and it put him a lap down. But he ended up coming back and was actually in third at one point in the race. Didn't finish third, but that's okay. But yeah, it was a fun finish. So there was like this big, huge crash right across the finish line, like right in front of us.
Wow.
So it was so cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not a big race guy, so I don't know much about it.
You know, my husband's gotten me into it, and now it's like, it's fun because I feel like I'm not a sports person, and I've never really been into sports. But it's so fun to be like, what are we cooking for the race? And like it's fun to have something to like look forward to on the weekend. So it's just kind of fun.
Yeah,
so.
That does sound like fun.
Yeah. What about you? Do anything fun this weekend?
Well, I went on a motorcycle ride.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I went by myself, which is fun.
That makes me nervous. Okay.
I know it does. I was thinking about telling you, and then I was like, never mind.
You know how I feel about that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really fun and really peaceful, and the weather was really great this past weekend. So,
G rides a motorcycle, and he says that it's like whenever you're on the motorcycle and riding, you're like so tuned in to everything going on around you. Like it's like a hyper focus thing.
Yeah.
And he said it's really good for his brain. And I don't get it, but I feel like that you could resonate with that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right. So let's jump into our hot topic for today.
Yes.
Our hot topic is customer service as a technician. So I spoke with our resident former HVAC tech in the marketing department, and he gave me all the pointers about what it's like to be a technician and have customer service. And so I'm going to tell you about what he said.
Okay.
So his first tip was, after you knock on the door and you're waiting for them to answer the door, is to like back up and give them some space so that you're not crowding them.
Right.
He talked a lot about building trust with them. So he said the first thing that he would do would be to give over a business card and introduce himself and the companies that he's with, and kind of talk to them about, what's been happening. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it just not working, or what that looks like? And then he also said that it's important to treat their house like your house, like you want them to treat your house. And if the company you're with recommend shoe covers, put the shoe covers on, which I'm a big advocate for that, because as someone who has kids, if you have a baby crawling around on the floor, you want either the shoes off or shoe covers. Like, don't bring that in the house. It's just gross. You know? So, and also, like, as a female, I want to feel like I can trust you to let you in my house.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes when I have like someone delivering something or someone coming to fix something. I'm like, I'm here by myself, and I'm a woman, and I don't know you, and I'm letting you in my house. It's really scary, actually.
I know, and it's like, I feel like that truck could sit in the driveway for hours and people would not question it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just to build the trust with them. So those were some good tips. Make them feel comfortable. try to find something to connect with them on. So he said he typically look at the refrigerator or maybe look around to see if they have any sports memorabilia or any, anything that he can kind of connect with them on and talk to them about, which I feel like is such good advice, because that's typically that's an in for building trust with someone, is to connect with them on some kind of level, which is cool. He also said that if you are maybe changing a unit or doing something that may be dirty, to put drop cloths down so that you can take the mess with you.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
I thought was a really good idea. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever had a technician be that.
Yeah. Kind of like
in tune with it.
Smokey the Bear pack in, pack out.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. I haven't heard Smokey the Bear in such a long time. Pro tip also, that a lot of times the units are in the backyard. So if you have to work on the outdoor unit, bring a tennis ball in case there's a dog in the backyard, which I was like, that's so smart. I would have never thought about that. I think a lot of times these technicians have to be they got to be on their toes. They got to think on the fly about some of this stuff. So,
and some dogs can be dangerous. So it's kind of scary to think about too, being a technician and having to run into all these animals.
I know, right? Because, I
mean, there could be a raccoon stuck in the unit, a rabid raccoon, or
I've seen snakes too,
snakes,
and snakes around the unit too. You kind of have to be a wildlife expert.
Oh, squirrels! There's always a squirrel.
And Steven told us in a couple of episodes back that he sometimes finds birds and stuff in there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. You have to be a wildlife expert to be an HVAC technician. I also asked him, I was like, what do you do when you show up and the customer's mad? If I'm in the house and it's 80 degrees and I've been waiting for 3 days to get this fixed, I'm probably not going to be very thrilled. I mean, I'm going to be happy to see you, but I'm also going to be grumpy because I've been hot for 3 days. So I was like, what do you do? How do you handle that? And he said, empathy, first of all. Empathize with them, talk them through it, and diffuse the situation. And I think the more I talked with him, the more I realized that these X-ray technicians are dealing with different personalities every single day.
Yeah.
So they're kind of they have to learn how to navigate a lot of different things, a lot of different scenarios every single day, which was interesting to me.
One customer service tip that I've heard too is letting your customer vent. A lot of times they just want someone to hear them out and to empathize with their situation and just, validate that they're, in a situation that isn't ideal and, we're going to get it fixed as soon as possible. They just want that reassurance.
Yeah, that's good advice. I mean, I think in any customer service scenario, it always makes me feel better when someone's like, I'm sorry you're going through that. We're going to do everything we can to get you taken care of. It also makes me want to be a little bit nicer to them if they're sympathetic to my, situation. So that's good advice. I also asked, what do you do when a customer can't pay you or doesn't pay you? What does that look like? And his advice was, typically in a normal scenario, they're going to be billed for that work. So it's kind of not in his wheelhouse, but if it's after hours, one of the first questions they ask is, how do you plan to pay for this? And he said typically on a normal basis, they know that they're going to have to pay for something at some point. So they're fine with it and they usually don't fight it.
Yeah.
But definitely an aspect of the job that I wouldn't like being a collection agent,
How do you plan on being this? I don't. I'm not going to.
Well, I don't plan on coming then. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot that they have to navigate. And I think some of the stuff that they have to navigate is just doing it and just encountering those situations and making sure that they're teachable. I mean, we all need to be teachable, and I know that there's probably some very difficult scenarios that they have to learn how to navigate to make the customer happy and still do what's right for the company at the same time. But there was another thing that he said that really resonated with me, because he said once you build the trust with them and you get to know them and they're familiar with you and you do a good job, you become the guy. And it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I have the guy. Like, the one guy that you're going to call every single time you have an issue, it's going to be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, or the company. And I'm like, I think everybody has their electrician, their plumber, their HVAC guy. And, like, once they're happy with that level of service, they're not going to call anyone else.
Yeah, I actually had an experience like that recently. Our washing machine broke. Well, it was doing something weird, and so I called an appliance guy in, and he was really nice and honest and upfront about the part that you need is going to cost more than getting a new washer, basically. Like, you might as well just get a new washing machine. And I thought I was really appreciative of his honesty and not just,
slapping something in.
Yeah, slapping something in. So our refrigerator is now making a weird noise, and I'm like, I'm going to call that appliance guy.
Yeah, because he's honest and trustworthy. Yeah, so kind of what falls in line with that Austin told us too was that to be strategic about building the ticket when you're there. So if you're there for PM call or you're there for, they forgot to change their filter and they didn't really know any better and that's all you really have to do. But you notice that, hey, well, maybe this capacitor could be replaced. Like it's kind of on the fritz and it's on its way out. And summer will be here in 2 or 3 months. It's probably a better, it's probably more ideal to change it now rather than when the season hits and we're busy and we can't stop by or, we can't get to you as quickly and it'll be more expensive, whatever the case may be, to just build that strategically. And he also said to be sure you kind of read the room and know, give them the option to replace something or repair something. So some people will probably just be like, go ahead and just replace the whole unit. Like, let's get it done. Let's get it over with. So we're not hot in the summer or cold in the winter, whatever. And then some people are like, well, let's see if we can get another season or 2 out of it. Like, change what you need to. I mean, just whatever makes more sense. Just like your washing machine, whether it's going to cost more money to just keep fixing part by part or replace the whole thing. So
right.
All good tips and tricks. I think another thing he mentioned was a lot of these companies are kind of wanting their technicians to dabble in that sales role and try to upsell a whole unit and replace the unit. And, I just think that not every tech has the ability to make that leap. So
right.
I would love to hear some feedback. Leave us some comments or, let us know what you think about technicians being responsible and commissioned for sales. I think that's an interesting concept that I just would like to hear if they like it or they don't like it.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know. Because I know that, I, as a graphic designer, I don't have that sales skill. And so if I was expected to do some type of sales, I would not be, I would not be able to, I don't think I would be very successful. Or maybe I would, I don't know.
I think there's good and there's bad to it. So I think there's some conflict of interest, but then I think also there's like an opportunity. So I think it depends a lot on personality type because like you said, you're a graphic designer and that's not really in your wheelhouse for someone like me. Which
is why I chose that pathway. I chose that pathway not thinking I would ever have to run into a sales type of role. So.
And some of these technicians are more like of a mechanical, technical mindset. And so that sales expectation might be hard for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I think that's all I got. You got any more questions for me?
I don't think so.
Yeah. What's our game for today?
I'm going to give you some trivia questions.
Okay.
And because I am who I am, it's 90s trivia.
Okay. So I just want to preface this with that I was born in 1992. So I am technically a 90s baby, but I'm also probably like the worst 90s baby.
You're going to know.
So
you're going to know
I know these.
I hope you know these.
Okay.
All right. Which 90s movie featured the iconic line, "You can't handle the truth"?
Oh my gosh. The first one that pops into my mind is probably not it, but Jerry Maguire.
No.
What is it?
A Few Good Men.
Oh, listen, we're on the same team.
I'm not a movie person.
I was going to say we're on the same team here. We don't watch movies, so.
Right. Who was known as the Queen of Pop in the 90s?
The Queen of Pop?
Mm-hmm.
I told you I'm a terrible 90s baby. I want to say like Britney Spears, but I don't think that's right.
Madonna.
Oh my gosh. I should have known that.
I feel like maybe she was more 80s, but I guess it's like
I would think for 80s, I would think Paul Abdul or someone like that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You know?
What was the name of the Japanese gaming company that released the popular Game Boy handheld console in the late 80s, which continued to be popular throughout the 90s?
I want to say Nintendo.
Yes.
It is Nintendo? Okay, good. Perfect. Look, we have like that version for my son, which is now not the Game Boy. It's called the Switch. And actually, they have like all the 90s games on it.
Do they?
So they've got Mario Kart, which
do they have regular like Mario
champion? Mama is the reigning champion at Mario Kart, and I do not give any freebies. Like, I am not letting you win. Do what?
Do they have Super Mario Brothers? Because I loved that game.
They have a lot of Mario stuff, so I think they probably do. I don't know. They have Mario Party, which we don't have. That's on the list. They have Super Smash Brothers, which is like all of these different characters, and you like battle it out. That one's really fun, but it's kind of hard. And then there's another one that we play that I can't remember the name of. It's not Bowser's Fury, but it was like a combo game. Like there was one. The games are like SD cards now.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm like, these are tiny little games. I would have lost these when I was a little kid. I don't know. I don't remember the name of it. I'll have to text you and see if he remembers.
What was the name? I don't think you're gonna know this because I didn't know this, but we'll try. What was the name of the first web browser released to the public, marking the beginning of the World Wide Web as we know it?
Is it a search engine?
It's the first web browser. So think like
it wasn't Microsoft
like
Explorer.
Firefox.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think I know it. Producer Scott, tell us what your answer is.
No, it's Mosaic.
Mosaic. Okay. Familiar? His guess was web crawler. Whatever that is. I don't even know. Okay, go ahead.
If you don't know this one, it's going to hurt me deeply. Who was the lead singer of the band Nirvana?
Kurt Cobain?
Yes.
I did get that one.
Okay.
Listen, my son is a huge Nirvana fan, so.
Oh.
Yes, Nirvana, Incubus, all of it. And
that's why me and him vibe so well. We need to hang out. Me and Jensen need to hang out.
That's hilarious.
I'll babysit.
Yes, I can always use a babysitter.
Okay, last question. Which African country hosted the FIFA World Cup for the first time in 1990?
I'm never going to get this. A soccer question, really? You know me.
South Africa.
South Africa? I was never going to get that, but okay.
I have a confession to make because I didn't realize that South Africa was actually the name of the country. I thought it just referred to a region of Africa.
The region of it.
And so I had to Google to make sure that answer was correct.
Listen, I just want y'all to know that we're not good. Geography was not our favorite subject in school, okay?
No. Like I said, I'm a graphic designer, okay?
Right, this is why I'm in marketing.
All right, well, that's all I have for you.
All right, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.